South by Southwest canceled due to the coronavirus, E3 seems to be getting worse and worse by the minute, and PAX East in a review. All that and more on Wumpa Time. Hey everyone, it's me, Shemp, and we're finally back with another episode of Wumpa Time, and I am back with my co-host,
Canadian Guy, and I am back from PAX East. We missed you last week because I was gone, and
I missed you.
I missed you too, so just letting you know. But PAX East was great, but we're going to be talking about that later because there's some juicy bits and some interesting things that happened there that I want to talk about. But Shemp, why don't you start us with the quick news?
Of course. So, do you know about the series Dead or Alive?
I know of it. I never got to play it as a child because, boobs.
You shouldn't. So, for those who don't know, it is a fighting game series where the main draw of the game is large bosoms. But in Dead or Alive 6, there seems to be a huge... I don't know. This is a new type of microtransaction scheme that I have never seen before. So basically, in Dead or Alive 6, one of the big controversies is that the game will charge you $1 every time you try to change the character's hair color. As an example. Now, the community has deemed this... Yeah, I know. I'll get into it. Now, the community has deemed this feature, quote-unquote, hair renting, because each time you switch it back and forth, it charges you $1 each time. You don't get to purchase the DLC color. You get to use it once, and then you have to pay to go back. Are you following me?
No.
You're not. No, good, because it's stupid. Now, if you go to the Steam page for Dead or Alive 6, you can see that if you want to purchase all of the DLC, just every single bit of DLC that you can buy right now, it totals up to a little under $2,000.
No.
$2,000.
No.
$2,000 for all the DLC. And get this, if you get the season pass, which is like, I think it's around $90, so already it's more than the base game. The season pass only gets you a bunch of skins. Like, let's say, I think it gets you 10 skins and 2 new characters. That's it. You still have $2,000 worth of new DLC to buy.
I thought that EA, I thought that everyone stooped to a new low, but no, this is new. This is new.
Yeah.
This is...
It's
And you know what the worst part is? They're going to make bank on it. You know they're going to make bank on it because people, when it comes to these type of games, people are willing to spend egregious amounts of money to make their female fighter look pretty, and
now here's a quote from an article that I read. Let's see. The developer introduced the premium ticket option for the PS4 version of the game. Players can purchase premium tickets in bundles of 2 for $50, then spend those tickets on costumes and other cosmetics. Each ticket costs about $1, and individual costumes can go for 3 to 4 tickets. Each hair color costs 1 ticket, and with 16 hair colors available per character, one can see how expensive that might get. So once again, if you buy the color, you don't own it. You're renting it that one time.
But I can't wait till we get to the point where Wumpa Time has cameras and we can get full production, because I just got my head in my hands right now. It's just
I'm like struggling to keep a straight face reporting on this.
But how can you set this up as a legitimate way of selling microtransactions? Like, you're not even owning the content. You're renting it. Not fine. It still sucks even this way, but it's better than what they have now. If you have brown hair and you want blue hair, you pay $1 for the blue hair, and you're like, okay, I don't mind going back to brown hair, and you go back to brown hair because you already paid the $1 for it. Fine, slimy, grimy, and awful. Not really fine. But if you want to switch back to brown, it costs you $1 again.
Yes, and every single time you want to customize any single aspect of your character, it can go from $1 to $5.
Wait. Hold on. So wait,
Oh.
you can't unlock all the outfits? Does that mean like if you buy an outfit, you want to switch back to another outfit, it costs money to switch back?
Yeah, and to customize it.
No!
Yeah. Yeah, remember when cheat codes were a thing where you could just unlock a new costume?
No. It's not just the hair. It's for
No.
everything.
It's for everything, at least from what I'm seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dead or Alive fans. I know you're just as heated about this as we are, but from what I understand, anything relating to customization spins tickets, which also cost money.
This can't be legal. There's no way. There's there's no way. There's gotta be like the Commissioners Act or whatever it is in the States where they're like, hey, this doesn't seem like a friendly thing to do, a consumer friendly thing to do. I can't remember the CRTC or whatever it is. No.
Yeah, no.
This is really bad. I mean, there's not really much more to comment other than like this. It's self-explanatory.
It's awful.
I think we've reached the breaking point of microtransactions. And speaking of breaking point, segue. Ubisoft's it was Ghost Recon, right? Was it Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Okay, so Ghost Recon Breakpoint launched. I think we could call it the definition of abysmal. The definition of
that's one way to put it.
The definition of just bad. They had awful microtransactions, which actually pale in comparison to what we just talked about. But anyway,
oh god, yeah, but still bad.
Still bad. Terrible microtransactions, terrible service, terrible balance. There was not one good thing about Breakpoint, and allegedly, well, not allegedly, actually, provedly, Ubisoft almost restructured their entire company because of the failure of Breakpoint.
Yeah, I've never seen a company get hit this hard. Like, we live in a world where you can release a game as unfinished as you want and say it's a service. It's a live service that was constantly getting updated.
Right.
Like, back in the day, there were standards that you had to meet in order to release a game. Like, this option wasn't so readily available, and now companies are taking advantage of it, and it's in G-rated terms, it's biting them in the butt. Like, they cannot release something like this because I was never a big fan of Tom Clancy. I never played the game, but from what I understand, Ghost Breakpoint, they turned it into a looter shooter like Destiny and Borderlands and stuff like that, which isn't what Tom Clancy games are about. They've never been that. And the fact that they pushed that plus all of the major pay-to-win microtransactions, this failed a lot harder than anyone expected, especially Ubisoft.
Right. So in the following, and I remember actually reading about this before, so this is just more confirmation. Their following quarterly call, they basically told all the investors, yeah, we messed up really badly. They kept, like, as the release got closer and closer to the breakpoint, they were like adjusting the numbers, and a breakpoint just performed terribly, first off in sales, and in microtransactions it performed terribly, but it did so bad that Ubisoft took a step back and they actually delayed literally everything by 1 year. Like,
every single thing that Ubisoft was being a part of got delayed.
Everything. Just, they're like, okay. So, like, remember Assassin's Creed in 2020? No, you don't. It's not happening. It's just like Gods and Monsters. That was the other one. That one got delayed.
Watch Dogs Legion. That was a big one.
Watch Dogs Legion. And they basically said that they learned their lesson and that Breakpoint was not... They're basically saying Breakpoint was their breaking point. No pun intended, but it's true. It was, yeah. They said that we need to restructure everything. And actually, they did something really cool, too. There was another project that they were working on, and they canceled the project. And instead of firing everybody on the team, they actually got... because we talked about this before. They actually asked them, what project do you want to work on? And they sent them, if they could, to that said project that they wanted to work on. So, something that they were working on got canceled, but it's fine because they still retained their jobs. They didn't just cut everybody off. Because if they did that, I think the PR crap storm would have been severe if, like, okay, Breakpoint just failed, we just cut another project and just laid off 300 people. I think that would have been like absolute like mayhem if that happened in terms of PR. So this is why we're not really seeing too much of Ubisoft this year. Like, what games are coming out by Ubisoft this year? Usually they have a game coming out, it feels like, every 3 months. But
yeah, it's like Ubisoft's, all of Ubisoft's IP were like basically their own Call of Duty. Every year you got a new one. Yeah. And like, we know the reason they rush these games out is because so they can meet a quarterly report.
Of course.
And that's why like we talked about, that's why Warcraft 3 Reforged was shoved out, was to meet the quarterly call. Yeah. That's what Ubisoft did with Breakpoint. Now, with so much happening and so much getting pushed back, the quarterly call is going to suffer, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to help the image of the company, which is going to help sales.
Right.
And speaking of sales, segue! The Sonic movie, quick update. The Sonic movie, as of right now, is sitting at a little over $270 million. And I think that's all together. I'm not sure. I think that's just I think that's just internationally.
That doesn't sound like domestic. I don't think so, because I remember it was like, I think it's even higher like worldwide. This sounds like maybe only North America. I'm not sure. I might be wrong on that, but still.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think we got the numbers from China and Japan yet, but I know as of right now, the public one right now is 270 million, and that could just be international, which is crazy for a video game movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, the movie is still doing very, very good. I think it's still number one in either the world or internationally. It's still topping the charts at all the movie theater buffs or movie theaters. I'm wondering how long they're going to keep this in theaters, because I imagine they originally were going to keep it in theaters for like a month, maybe a month and a half, and then pull it if it didn't do well. This thing's doing way better than they initially thought. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep it in there, like they did with.
Well, the big thing is that people keep going back and seeing it. Like, almost all my friends have seen the movie more than once, right?
Yeah, I've seen it more than once.
I've only seen it once because I have children, so I wish I could.
That's fair.
I really wish I could. But the big thing about that too is that there isn't too many, like, other than that one movie that's coming out or has come out, Onward, I can't remember
Onward,
it was Onward, yeah. First off, the marketing for that was absolutely terrible because it just showed up. It was like,
is it out?
I think it's out in, like, on the 11th, which is like, at the time of recording.
What?
Like,
really?
4 days. It's this month. I know it's this month for sure.
On release date. Wait, hold on. February. It came out already.
Oh. Well, that makes it even
February
worse.
29th.
That makes it even worse. I thought, like, oh, that's coming out this month. The advertising for this movie was absolutely just dog crap. It was just...
Yeah, the only time I saw like anything for it was when I went to a movie, which was Sonic.
Yeah, that's when I saw it too, was when I went to go see Sonic. I think I vaguely remember I very vaguely remember a mention or like a teaser trailer like a year ago or something, but it was just so casual, I just didn't really pay attention. And then all of a sudden it just showed up, and it's like, yeah, resurrecting. By the way, how is the reviews on it? Like, if you looked it up,
I think Metacritic gave it like a 61 or 68 or something like that.
So it's kind of... Yeah.
But Rotten Tomatoes also gave it like an 89, so it's like,
really?
It's a Pixar movie. It's obviously great. Like, this isn't me knocking it. Of course, it's probably good. I don't doubt that it's good. I don't know. I wasn't really interested. I mean, it's got Tom Holland in it, and I'm like, okay, cool. But it just kind of came out.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. Not really too much advertising given to it, which kind of sucks because it had potential. Like, the idea of it's kind of neat, but the Sonic movie performing this well with only Onward in theaters and the advertising, the garbage advertising that it had, I think that they could maintain a longer run with Sonic. They don't have to pull it out right away after a month and a half, because, child movies, they stay in theater longer because kids go and see it, and then, sometimes they want to go see it again. And, and also too, fully grown adults are going to go see this, and they're seeing it multiple times, and they're thoroughly enjoying themselves. And I think that I don't think that it's going to be leaving theater anytime soon. I don't think. But it's doing well, and I'm very happy to see the Sonic movie doing this well. I'm very happy, and I'm
hoping the sequel does well too.
Yeah. Speaking of sequel-ish, kind of, not really, but segue. Do you guys know? Do you guys know The Last of Us? I
love it.
Yeah, it's a great game. One of arguably PlayStation's one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time that comes from any PlayStation anything. People argue between The Last of Us and Uncharted as being one of the best PlayStation titles ever, and they're both very good. So The Last of Us came out for the PlayStation 3 and then was remastered for the PS4. And The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be coming out within a few months now. It's going to be out very soon. However, they have confirmed, HBO and Naughty Dog have confirmed that they are going to be creating a Last of Us TV show.
Yes, for HBO.
HBO specifically.
Now we touched on how we think these TV shows are the best way to go for video game adaptations to screens, and this just proves our point even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, why I'm excited about this specifically is one, they confirmed that this is replacing the movie that's been in development hell for well over 5 years or so.
It's
been way too long.
I do remember immediately after The Last of Us came out and it did so well that there was reports that PlayStation wanted to do a movie, and it was in production, and it's just stalled. It hasn't moved.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything. This is a smart move.
Now, I'm also excited because what am I saying? The director, basically the guy who ran the whole thing, Neil Druckmann, he retweeted it saying that he's a part of it. Mm-hmm. He's going to be involved with this project, which is even better because basically the studio who made the game is involved with making the show, and we don't know if it's live action or if it's going to be animated or not, but all I know is that Troy Baker retweeted it saying, "Good morning, all." For those of you who don't know, Troy Baker is the voice of the main character, Joel. Right. So if this is animated or even live action and it has the original cast, my God, yes.
Yeah, there is a lot of potential here that it could really, really sorry, sneeze. It has a lot of potential. The Last of Us is one of those games where if you play through it, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys just in case if you haven't played it. If you haven't, what are you doing? It's one of those games that takes time to develop. It takes time to grow. It takes time to improve. It takes time to develop in terms of story. And again, we talked about this over and over. We talked about this multiple weeks in a row talking about The Witcher 3 and its overwhelming amount of success. I can promise you, I will put money down that The Witcher 3's success is what drove this decision. Now, this isn't coming out anytime soon. They just announced that they're going to start working on it.
They just announced it.
This might be 3-4 years before we see anything.
Oh, right? Yeah. And I am a little worried that it's on HBO because I know HBO has a large install base. I mean, Game of Thrones is widely popular, even though the last 2 seasons weren't that great.
Right.
But it's not as big as the Netflix user base, which is one of the main reasons why Witcher did so well. So I don't doubt that The Last of Us show is not going to do well. I know it's going to do well. I just don't know if it's going to do as well as The Witcher's impact.
Well, the thing is that it depends on... I think the big thing that they might be doing with this is that, they're going to be bringing in the people that are already fans, but they're also probably going to be bringing in a new audience as well. So they're going to be showing it to a new audience. It's going to push people to subscribe to HBO just for The Last of Us. But
that was another one too. I don't know. I don't know if I want to subscribe to HBO for one show.
Yeah, exactly. But this might also push a lot of people doing torrenting for it, though. A lot of people are going to torrent this, because the thing is that when you're dealing with, I would say a large variety of gamers, they're pretty techie, and so they can figure out workarounds and stuff like that. Usually. So a lot of people will probably torrent it, but where they torrent it, they also might sell a physical version, like a physical Blu-ray, and they might make a lot of money back that way. The merchandise,
that's true.
And also too, this is just money for PlayStation because it's just going to push more people to try. Like, look, the Witcher, The Witcher came out, and we saw the books and the sales of the game skyrocketed, right? So and The Last of Us is still fairly relatively new. The Last of Us Part 2 is about to drop, and then for them to drop the Last of Us TV show, I think it's going to be still a success, even though it's over on HBO. Will it be as successful as The Witcher 3? I don't know, but it might be.
Yeah, not entirely sure, but it might even do better.
Well, we can hope.
And speaking of doing better, kind of bad side away, but you'll see where I'm going with this. I'm hoping that the people that were involved with this convention are doing better, because the South by Southwest convention was canceled because of the coronavirus. So this is another big event that's been affected by the coronavirus. Now, that's kind of scary because for me personally, South by Southwest is in Texas, and I'm in Texas.
Right.
I'm not worried about me personally, but it is so scary to know that it's so close. But for those of you who don't know, South by Southwest was another convention, not primarily gaming convention, but it was just a big convention where a lot of companies got together to show off more projects and stuff. Like the big one that people kept their eyes on was that every other South by Southwest there would be a Sonic panel where it would be this big panel where Aaron Weber, the social media manager, would host this panel talking about Sonic and the future of Sonic at that point in time, and they would sometimes they would announce future projects like they did with Sonic Forces. They said that they were making it at South by Southwest and showed a lot of stuff. And people were excited because Sonic had another panel, but it got canceled. And the Sonic Twitter said that, we're sorry that this happened. It was out of our control, but we're still going to be announcing stuff, which is good. Which is good that they did that, Sony. Right. but this is starting to get bigger and bigger because more and more conventions and gatherings are getting affected by this, and I don't know what else is going to be affected by this.
Well, did you hear about the GDC, the Game Developers Conference?
Besides, well, we talked about Sony and Facebook leaving last time. Was there something else?
Oh, Blizzard left.
What?
Yep. So much happened that legit the GDC has been postponed to the summertime now.
Oh, I remember that. I remember reading about that. Yeah.
So they're postponing it till at least the summertime before they start announcing stuff and showing stuff there, because literally 90% of people were just pulling out. And the reason why is because the GDC, if I remember correctly, is hosted in California. And at the moment, California is under a state of emergency because of the coronavirus. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So now I'm going to preface this because I think a lot of the main news thematically is going to be wrapped around the coronavirus, including the PAX review, including, like we mentioned, about the E3 stuff and South by Southwest. South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
I'll get it. This coronavirus is causing a lot of panic, and the reason why what they're doing is that, and the reason why it's not considered a pandemic yet. So that was something I wanted to look up. I'm not scared of it, but I am, I'm attentive. I want to make sure, right? And
yeah, same here.
Yeah, and the consideration of a pandemic is when people start getting infected and the source is unknown. So,
yes.
For example, in Ontario, where I'm from, 26 people have been reported to have the coronavirus. Yeah, 26. But they know where it came from because a lot of these people came back from Iran, Egypt, a lot of these countries out over in Europe and in the Middle East area. They're quarantined, but they know where the source came from. The issue becomes a problem when they're like, where did you get it from? Did you travel from anywhere? No. Did you encounter anybody that you knew traveled anywhere? I have no idea. Then when more cases like that start popping up, it's considered a pandemic.
Yeah.
It is currently not considered a pandemic. But the problem was, and this is, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk a little bit about PAX here as well. We can talk more about it later as well. But I do want to mention that at PAX, there were a lot of people that pulled out. There were a lot of warnings everywhere about the coronavirus.
Oh, really?
Everywhere. There, at literally every single escalator, and this was something that was really interesting. Every single escalator, there was a hand sanitization station. Every single one.
Wow.
And
that's insane.
Yeah, and this was something that I was just like, and I didn't even realize until later on, was that every single time we were going down escalators, there was somebody, probably, I would say, like, they probably were doing rotations and stuff, but probably every second or third escalator we go to, there would be a caretaker at the bottom of the escalator, and they would have a cloth on the handles. And what they were doing is that they were literally sanitizing the handles as they were passing through, and they would just stand there, spraying the handle and sanitizing it and holding the cloth to the, because you know with the escalator, the handles they rotate, right? And
yeah.
They literally were just sanitizing those the whole time. That's all they did.
Scary.
Yeah. Well, everybody is in a panic right now about it, and especially at PAX East, because PAX East is the biggest PAX in the world. It's bigger than PAX Prime. It's bigger than PAX West. It's bigger than PAX Australia. PAX South. It's the biggest, right? There's like 6 PAX conventions, and PAX East is the biggest one.
Yeah, I can tell you because PAX South was here in Texas, and it was pretty pathetic.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, right? There's so much going on at PAX East. People fly in from around the world, from London, from wherever. They fly in to go to PAX East specifically. And they took measures, they took safety measures, and they made sure that people had sanitized stations and everything. And South by Southwest, them canceling the con entirely, I think is a little overboard. I do think that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Boston, nothing, not to throw shade at South by Southwest at all, but PAX East is bigger than that, I think. I think that PAX East is bigger than South by Southwest.
Oh, yeah, no, that's that without a doubt, yeah.
Right. So, and they took precaution. They understood. And what was really cool, too, is that all the indie booths, they had a protocol where after each person handled each controller, someone would walk up and sanitize it before the next person got on to play. They made sure.
Okay.
Every single time. They washed the headphones, they washed the controllers, and they made sure that everything was fine. And we'll know next week if anybody who went to Boston got sick or not. But to cancel an event altogether like that, to delay it maybe, but to cancel it overall,
yeah,
it's a little.
Because every other event has been delayed, not canceled.
Yeah, but you also want the workers to be safe, right? And that's the main thing.
Yeah,
we want people to be safe. I think that this whole coronavirus thing could be settled down a month from now. It could be nuclear a month from now. We don't know, because it takes so long for the incubation period. But
yeah,
overall, it just sucks because when is South by Southwest? Like, when was the initial date?
It was gonna be I think March 20th. I think.
There are probably thousands of people that already bought their tickets.
Yeah. Oh, it was the 13th, so it was happening like next week. Yeah, next Friday.
But I mean, imagine you save up the work days to take the time off. You saved up the money for the hotel stay. You saved up the money for the tickets. you saved up money for spending. You had these, and then social media people had plans to go there and probably cover the Sonic stuff, and that's all just been yeeted, deleted.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time I've heard that, but yeah, more or less.
And that's really depressing. And I do think, though, it's a negative on South by Southwest for waiting this long to make that announcement.
Yeah, and I don't know, skipping out 2020, like that 2020, that's a date that's going to stick because of the date alone. 2020, like 2021 isn't as memorable as 2020. So saying like, oh man, South by Southwest 2021 was so much better, that doesn't sound cool.
Yeah.
South by Southwest 2020 was cool. So like, people this year, like, this is a big year for a lot of people. This is probably a lot of people's favorite convention, and they just can't go there anymore. Now, kind of moving along to a lot of people's favorite convention. E3 2020 seems to be going down more and more of a crapshoot. So last time we touched on how Jeff Keighley was backing out. He wasn't going to be hosting it or doing the Coliseum or anything like that. He said, quote, because of what he knows on the inside, which is extremely vague. But after that, E3 announced that a company known as I Am 8-Bit was going to be handling the planning. They were going to be getting everything that the E3 higher-ups envisioned, and they were going to plan the whole thing. And now, 5 weeks into this gig, I Am 8-Bit left already. And they said on Twitter...
What is happening?
I don't know. I'm going to get into that. I think I have a little more insight about that. But first, I Am 8-Bit said, it's with mixed emotions that I Am 8-Bit has decided to resign as creative directors of what was to be an evolutionary E3 2024 experience. We produced hundreds of gaming and community events, and it was a dream to be involved with E3. We wish the organizers the best of luck. So, okay. So with E3, there was a document that was either leaked or shown from the inside.
Of course it got leaked because it's E3.
No, my bad. My bad. It wasn't leaked. E3 detailed this a while ago on their website. They said that they wanted E3 2020 to be more about celebrities and influencers coming together and just, I guess, promoting a bunch of products. They just wanted to promote a bunch of products, promote a bunch of services and shows and movies on the ground floor, and have fans meet up with these influencers and celebrities. And I think that's a huge reason why Jeff Keighley left, because it wasn't about bringing the world together with games like it was supposed to be, like it's always been about. It's more about business, getting big name celebrities to come on E3, because last year kind of sucked. Like, it was just ads everywhere. Like, the games that they did show were cool, but it felt like it was more about the ads. And this year it was going to be even more so.
Oh dear.
And it looks like I Am 8-Bit was going to be in charge of doing all that, like getting contact with all the celebrities, getting times and booths and all that stuff.
Right.
So it looks like they also were like, no, this just doesn't feel right. And E3 is just getting destroyed. They haven't announced a delay, I don't think, which they should. But I don't know what's going on with E3. They've lost 2 creative directors basically, and summer is pretty soon. Like, it's only a couple months away.
Well, that's June, right? So it's 3 months. Is it 3 months?
Oh, wow. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
So, yeah, 3 months.
3 months away.
With 3 months away, and E3 is considered to be the biggest gaming convention in the world. Like, bar none. There's not that in Gamescom over in Germany. So you could argue and debate which one is bigger. I think the statement of saying Gamescom is bigger in Europe and then E3 is the biggest in North America.
That's a good way to put it.
That's the best way to put it, because people argue and debate what's bigger all the time between Gamescom and E3. They're both massive, but nonetheless, to have E3 literally be considering to be going down this path of advertising and this path of not really celebrating games, it just feels like that they lost touch. Because originally E3 was supposed to be because I remember I can't remember if it was Reggie that went into this, Reggie Fils-Aimé, the previous North American director of Nintendo. He had said that E3 was originally just kind of like behind closed doors. You show up, and you would show up, and you would have like, you know, the heads of Walmart, Target, all the retailers, all the businesses and stuff, and they would show off the games to all the different retailers and stuff, so they could figure out how much they would want to order, what was going to be the next hit thing, what was going to be hot, etc., right? And then it turned into kind of like a public convention where it was just like, okay, let's let the public see it now and bring it game journalism. And I think that was the peak of E3. I think that was the peak of E3, where you had the public involved. It was still a very, very industry held thing, but the public was watching to see what was coming, right?
Yeah, and I think it was around, I forgot when it was, but E3, like, in order to get to E3 back then, you would have to essentially get invited or get special permission or be part of some sort of press. But then at one point, that's when they first opened their doors to the public, where you could purchase tickets and attend the event. And that was a huge deal. And it was exciting because people could play the game for the first time instead of just watching and seeing what people thought about it, like online or on TV, like G4. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. X-Play. And,
all that stuff. And now it seems like they were focusing more on getting stuff on the ground floor for people who attend the convention, which is fantastic. It's great to give people who purchase a ticket to feel like they have a reason to be there. But if it's just going to be celebrities and YouTubers and less about the games and more about the fame, who cares? I fully support if that's what it is. Exactly. This is just turning into VidCon. And if that's what it is, I fully support Jeff Keighley leaving. And it's not just Jeff Keighley. Activision, EA, and Sony, they've all like dipped out of E3 well before all this.
Well, I'm not sure if Activision has dipped out, because according to a leak, they are still there. I don't know if they've left officially E3, but it sounds like as if what E3 needs to become, because if you know PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo. So yeah, AAA studios go there, but it's a lot of indie games. Like it's majority indie, right? Indie and up and coming. If E3 really wanted to push themselves further, they could easily turn around and say, okay, we're going to be the AAA PAX. That's what our convention will be, is that you're going to come here and you're going to see these giant booths for PlayStation, for Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, and then all these really big AAA third-party studios, you know, Square, and it would be like the creme de la creme of gaming, right? Like, this is where you come, games are announced, here are the press shows and stuff like that. We're going to be like PAX, but through the roof. Like, we're going to be like crazy, right? This is where you're going to get your massive AAA games announced. This is where you're going to get returns of epic games from the past. This is where it's going to get announced, and then you get to play it on the floor. And every game that you line up for and everything will be a game from either like a huge AAA studio or from the main headers, Nintendo, Sony, or Xbox. It doesn't sound like this going like that anymore. I mean,
no. It's really sad to say. I loved E3.
Yeah, E3 season was one of the best seasons ever. I don't think anyone can really, like, as a gamer, when E3 was rolling up, as I said, it started to really open up to the public when I was in high school. And I remember, this is when smartphones just started to become a thing. I had the iPhone 3G at the time. Yeah. And they just installed Wi-Fi at the high school. And I remember logging in, and I remember having a proxy on my phone because they wouldn't let you go on YouTube, but I had a proxy.
Same here. Yep.
Yeah. I hopped through, and on our lunches, we would just gather together and just watch E3.
To put it in perspective, E3 / the Game Awards were basically our Super Bowl. Like, I'm not a football fan in the slightest, but that's what it was. That's what you compare it to.
But it was like a 4-day event too, and it was huge. And it was just like, okay, day one was over, and it wasn't like, okay, that's it. It was like, no, there was more tomorrow. And usually it ramped up. It got crazier and crazier and crazier. And then there would be so many announcements that you would miss, like some crazy huge announcement, and then you would all get together and talk, and then be like, oh yeah, did you see the announcement for this game? Like, no, what? Are you crazy? And then you go to YouTube, pull it up, and it was such a fun time. And just by what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like E3 is going to be a fun time, which is a shame because it was a dream of mine to go to E3 one day. And
same here. Yeah, I really wanted to go.
And unless they fix their act, unless they change something, or unless some third party company, like if Activision is just like, hey, we're going to be showing off some stuff there and it's influencer garbage, do you want to go? Sure.
No, like if I want to go to VidCon, I'll go to VidCon.
Right, but I mean, like if like, hey, do you want to go? And Activision asks me if I want to go. Yeah, I'll go, but I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll.
At this time, if I were to go, I would have to be invited.
Yeah, invited, or but for me to shell out and plus for me to get down there, I did the math. It's like $4,000 for me to go, for the hotel, for the flight, for all the stuff. I was just like, it's not even close to worth it. Not even a smidge close. All right, and each year it got worse and worse. Right. But you know what is worth it? PAX.
Ooh!
So
yes, PAX. I just want to tell people, I almost went with you. I was really close to going with you, and then we saw how long it would take me to get there.
yeah. Which
I think it took like a day and a half by car.
Yeah. But maybe next year we can get something.
Hopefully, if we plan ahead.
Yeah, let's plan ahead next year. Maybe we can get set up. But PAX East was. Though, okay, so I am going to say this, and this is going to be really weird. I had a lot of fun this year, probably more fun than I did last year, even though that there were less companies here this year due to the coronavirus, which, again, we talked about that. One of the things that was funny, and I don't think I ever caught one, the most popular cosplay, you know how every year there's the most popular cosplays of the different things, and
I think I know what you're about to say.
Do you know what the most popular cosplay was?
What was it?
A biohazard suit.
That was not what I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say like the Mandalorian or Baby Yoda or something.
No. It's a biohazard suit.
It was a biohazard suit. Okay, so that's funny. That's real funny.
But there were people that were doing different takes on it, like, oh, a zombie biohazard suit, like, oh, that's cool. But they still had the mask on. They still had the mask on, but they had like contacts on underneath, rotting flesh, or they had like, people, I think I saw one guy cosplaying as remember from Monsters Inc. where they find the sock.
2319.
Yeah, 2319. Yeah, I thought I saw one. So that it was variations of that. So that was fun, and then there were just people in literal straight up just like sanitary biohazard suits. And I was just like, it's like, it's a cosplay, right? Yeah,
not really, but really.
So that was funny. That was funny to see. But the reason why I had so much fun this year was because I was able to meet up with a bunch of my friends. That was something that was absolutely incredible. I got to meet. It was just me. I brought Tyler, which is a personal buddy of mine. We went and we met up with Katie, a friend of hers, which I'm not going to say the name because he didn't even want to be on camera. He barely wanted to be on camera ever. At all, actually. All the times.
Yeah, I know. I had to cover his face a bunch.
Yeah. So we met with Katie, and then we met up with Just Shooter, and then we met up with Mystic Moon, and we met up with a bunch of fans, and that was incredible. But that was kind of like the crew. The crew was me, Tyler, Katie, Shooter, and Mystic. That was the core group, right? There were some people that would come and say hi, and we'd say hi and hang out for a sec, but then that we would move on, right? So, there's one thing I haven't talked about yet, and I do want to talk about it, though. I do want to talk about it quickly.
Yes.
There was a secret booth there was a secret booth that they didn't really advertise too much, at least to the public. Are you familiar with Double Fine?
Yeah. What? Double Fine had a secret booth?
Yeah. Well, okay. So Double Fine was there, and it was public. It was public that Double Fine was there.
Okay.
And you could walk by, and there was Double Fine, but you'd walk to the front, and it was just a merch store, and there was 2 demos for 2 games there. But I had noticed they had a cardboard cutout of Psychonauts. But I saw nothing of Psychonauts. Not a thing. And I walked up at one point and I said, "Hey, I see you got a cardboard cutout of Psychonauts. Do you have, like, anything for Psychonauts 2 here?" And the lady smiles and she ducks under the desk and she pulls out 2 tickets. And she says, we have a secret viewing for Psychonauts 2. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, the secret viewing. And the way they made it look was that it looked like it was their storage space, like where they were putting all the merch, but it was actually a little viewing area. And they only had 2 tickets left, so me and Katie went in, and there was probably like 8 other people, maybe 10 other people. So there was like 12 of us, and we got to watch the first half an hour of Psychonauts 2. Full gameplay.
That is so cool. That is such a cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I was just like...
okay.
Yeah.
So I remember you said in the vlog, because I edited, you said that it took you by surprise. So you've never played the first one, right?
I didn't play the first one, but I was playing this. I was watching them play this one, and it is smooth. I don't know how smooth the original was, but the platforming looks intriguing. The platforming looks smooth. The concept is creepy and weird. It's got Nightmare Before Christmas vibes.
Yeah, so that's how the first one was, but it wasn't as smooth. Like, it was a good platformer. It was very good, very tight, very well polished, but it was still kind of janky because, it was like an early type of game. But it's been ported to like everything left, right, and center. So there have been like revisions and remasters and whatnot.
Yeah, but this one felt really good. The enemies were funny. The enemies were hilarious.
Okay, good.
But
I hope so, because this thing's been delayed like 3 times.
Yeah. But the thing is that we couldn't record anything. Obviously, that was a big thing. Was that because I had the gimbal, right?
Yeah.
And you guys saw how if you guys saw the PAX footage, the footage was pretty good. It was pretty smooth. It was
very smooth.
And the problem was that people would block your path on purpose. Like, if you saw a game at a distance, you're like, "Hey, I want to record," and you pull out your phone and go to record it. If someone saw you, they would just stand in front of the footage and block it.
Oh,
right? So yeah, stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Or I would say, "Hey, can I take a picture?" And they say, "No, you can't." They just straight up say no. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
So, but while I was there, they had all these different games that we tried. It was incredible. And if you have any questions, actually, Shem, fire away about PAX, because I went and unfortunately you couldn't. So, do you have any questions about PAX?
So mainly one. You slightly touched on this in the vlog, but THQ Nordic was there, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So did you get to play any of their demos?
I did. Yes, 2 of them.
Okay. So did you play or at least see anything for SpongeBob or Destroy All Humans?
I played both.
You played both. Okay, great. So that makes this a lot easier. Yeah. So let's start with Destroy All Humans, because that's one I have the least experience with, but I know a lot of people who are very excited for it.
So do you want me to tell you like the breakdown of what the demo basically was, or?
I imagine the demo was the same as they showed off like last year, or it's the first level and it's that basically it. Did you watch the footage of the first level like a year ago?
I didn't, but I played it. So
okay.
The first thing that I want to say...
Oh, yeah, you were there. You were there last year, right?
Yeah. So...
okay.
Yeah. So I remember the trailer. So when I was playing Destroy All Humans, that was the second demo I tried, because during media hour, they allow you on the first day to get in an hour early to try whatever you want. And I was able to do 3 demos. I did Final Fantasy VII, I did Battle for Bikini Bottom, and then I did Destroy All Humans. So Destroy All Humans was the last demo I played. So the first thing that I noticed when I started to play was that the audio was kind of muddy. And I was like, why is the audio muddy? And I think it's because they're temporarily using the PS2 audio. I hope it's temporary.
I was about to say.
No, because I was listening to it and I'm like, it sounds a little muddy. But the gameplay is actually really smooth. I was shocked. Everything was transitioned very well. They were teaching you the basics, like, okay, this is how you shoot your gun. This is how to use telekinetic force. This is how you... And then it's like, okay, now you can chain all these things up and you can hover around in a jetpack. The humor was still there. The graphics were a little bit to be desired.
Oh, really?
It definitely felt like it's still like, I guess, alpha, so they're still improving on it, but the graphic fidelity definitely was something I was like, okay, this is kind of underperforming in the graphics department.
Is it on Unreal? Do you know?
I don't know. I have no idea the engines for either of them.
Okay.
That was a little it felt like a mid to early PS4 game, or like the 7th generation, or a late PS3 game. And
that makes sense.
But it was still playable. It was still very playable. I enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it.
So I looked it up right now, and it does look like the remake is running on Unreal 4.
Okay.
So maybe it was just pulled back for the PAX demo.
Maybe. That's entirely possible.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So let's go to SpongeBob. I saw that PAX got a new demo because the only demo that they kept showing was the pre-alpha demo. So I heard they had a new updated demo, but it was still the first level. How did that play?
So unfortunately, there is a problem. The PAX demo that they were advertising was select few people, appointment only.
But the public one was the pre-alpha?
Yeah. So
okay.
I was playing the pre-alpha, and I understand it was pre-alpha. It was pre-alpha. It was definitely like
really,
like, okay. So I don't want to be like throwing shade or anything, but it did make me feel concerned. Because even though now it actually had the opposite problem of Destroy All Humans pre-alpha. Destroy All Humans played nicely, sounded a little weird, and then the graphics were to be desired. Battle for Bikini Bottom looked great. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, graphically, from what I've seen, it looks really, really good.
Graphically, it was so much fun. Playing wise, though, oh dear, janky, rough. They used the PS2 audio again.
Yeah, that one I figured, because these are not to knock Destroy All Humans, but
right.
SpongeBob, these are more how do you say notable actors that you'd have to pay a lot.
Now,
and I doubt that Purple Lamp Studios or THQ has the budget to re-record all of these.
Well, apparently not so much, because like here's the thing. So I remember let me quickly go, because I actually went and was able to talk to very briefly. I went to his thing. I went to go see Beta 64.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was really cool. He actually posted a full tweet of kind of what he was talking about, because he got to play. He was able to actually play the new press build.
Oh, okay.
So this is what he had to say. He had a whole list of things here. Let me just see. Did he delete some of them? Where I'm trying to find it, because he had like a full thing where he talked about everything from top to bottom, his thoughts, how he felt, and there were concerns that I had that it kind of matched. So this is what he said. Here's the one tweet that he said is, according to the THQ guy, I had shown me the demo. There will be no new voiceovers in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Only thing that will be recorded is for the scrap levels they're adding in, and Mr. Krabs' voice will not be changed.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, no. So.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
Yeah, so then the next tweet that he said is, I played SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrate. Very pretty, very unfinished. Wasn't much new stuff. No new voiceover was the biggest shock. Though jumps are floatier now, it's easier to throw melons, more animations, and the leaked release date wasn't far off, I'm told. And the leaked release date, I believe, was May? Was it? I believe.
What? No. Okay. So that's really concerning. That's really close. So
Yeah.
if he says it's not far off, and even the closed behind doors demo that he played was still very early and very rough, that's scary.
Yeah. So
I had high hopes for this.
Now, there's more. There's more.
Okay.
He said he made 2 tweets about this. He goes, to make this into a short tweet, played the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom press only demo. It is very unfinished. It will release very close to the leak date. There will be little to no new voice acting, according to Nickelodeon apparently. Floatier jumps done because they believe it's easier to control. New levels will be about 10 minutes of gameplay. Multiplayer mode is only allowed for a new hard mode. New animations are used for talking to be more expressive. They are looking at how the players react to the demo to help polish the game. And that was it. That was his final tweet.
Oh, oh wow, okay. So getting reactions from the public now to polish the game, meaning it's close to final stages and it's still that rough.
Yeah, so yeah, I was playing it, and that was all that was going through my head, was that this is rough. This is not as good as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, there was that leaked release date, which was around May. Let me just double reconfirm that. Battle for Bikini.
So that's really interesting because from all the gameplay that I've seen, it looked very smooth, but probably because the person playing it was playing very, very, very slowly. But I know you know how to test a game. That's really weird because I was actually considering buying the collector's edition of this. Right. But if I
would wait. I would wait because it's not hold on, I'm trying to find the exact date that was a quote unquote leaked which features on new SpongeBob trailer. No, that's not it. I'm trying to find the exact date. I'm going to stick with May.
Oh, it was May 22nd.
Okay,
that was the leaked date.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, May 22nd. So that, according to Beta 64, it wasn't far off. So even if it's June, it's a few months out, and it was rough.
So let's say hypothetically the game is in its final stages, it's like 90% complete, and they're finishing up the last part, and then it'll be considered finished, and they're using that demo to garner what they need to polish. And with how rough the behind closed door demo was, apparently, with how soon the game is releasing, that's not enough time to polish what's there, unless they're purposely giving them an earlier demo, like a demo that's later than pre-alpha but still early from the final product, while the final product is already polished, just to see, oh yeah, we fixed that, oh yeah, we fixed that.
Yeah, but still though, you would want to have like the most up-to-date, because you know what, they kept stuff updated. I remember Spiral Reignited was doing its demo tour, right?
Yes.
Gamescom, I'm trying to remember what came first, Fan Expo or Gamescom. I think it was Gamescom that came out first. Gamescom came along, and we saw gameplay footage of Spyro. There were a bunch of complaints, and there were people like pointing things out, like, hey, this is kind of rough, this is kind of not janky, because they were showing stuff from Spyro 3. And I got a hand of the exact same demo not like 3 weeks later, and a lot of those issues that people were talking about were fixed on that demo, from the color of certain dragons, Zoe's dress clipping, and all this stuff. Those issues were solved and fixed.
So how fast was that again?
That was like 3 weeks, or with a few weeks.
Wow. Okay.
It was fixed.
I might be putting so I might be putting too much on the studio. But again, to be fair, this is Purple Lamp Studios, who has done primarily mobile games, if I remember correctly. So don't know, because is this considered a AAA studio? Wait, my bad. I'm sorry. They've done one game.
No, that's not. So no, I wouldn't consider them AAA. No.
So the one game they did was called the Guild 3. I was wondering, is this SpongeBob game considered AAA because it's a huge franchise?
I don't know what they're considering it. I'm going to be honest. And I hate to say it, but my hype for Battle for Bikini Bottom has subsided a little bit. I'm not.
Yeah, this really did put it into perspective.
Like, I still do want to like review it, and I still do want to play it, and I still do want to get it, but it definitely aged badly. Like, they definitely there was a lot of things I'm playing. I'm like, this really does feel like it. Like, because if you look at like Spyro Reignited, it still feels good, right? It still feels good to charge around. Because Spyro feels faster, Spyro feels bouncier and snappier, and Rehydrated doesn't. Rehydrated feels floatier. It feels very early platformer again. And yeah, it's got that PS2 feel to it, but that's not necessarily a good thing.
No, there's a reason games have evolved.
Right.
With Crash and Spyro, those translated to modern day because the level design, more often than not, the level design was timeless. It was short, compact, sweet, fun to run around. It wasn't a lot of flat land, unlike Spyro 1, which is a lot of flat land. Mm-hmm. But specifically 2 and 3, there was a lot to do. With SpongeBob, I'm playing it for the first time because I'm doing a video on SpongeBob games, and I'm playing it for the first time. I'm having a lot of fun for my first time playing the game, but there are moments where I think, wow, this is dragging.
Yeah.
There's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of going back and forth and back and forth. It has a lot of really cool ideas, but you can tell this game was probably put together kind of hastily. Just a lot of ideas being thrown left and right, and they just put it in.
Yeah, and I don't want people to be thinking I'm crapping all over the game. I'm not. I can only talk about the experience that I had with the demo. I can only speak on behalf of that. One other thing before we get going, and about Battle for Bikini Bottom, was that when I went to go play it, there was press that were walking up, and they weren't even finishing the 15-minute demo. They were just
really?
They were putting the controller down and walking away. That was it. They would hit probably the 15-minute demo would start. They probably get to like 7 or 5 minutes left, and they just walk away. They just put the controller down and be like, nah, moving on. And
I wonder if that's going to send a message. Well, was it THQ Nordic there, or was it Purple Lamp?
It was THQ Nordic.
Okay.
And that was during the media hour. Now, of course, people were lined up, when it came to regular people, but I didn't personally have an interest to get back to playing it again. There weren't a lot of people that were on looking. Like, people waiting in line, were watching, but people weren't stopping and like watching the gameplay. Yeah. Like, I remember last year with CTR, people were stopping and watching gameplay that they were like, how can I get in line for this? For Bikini Bottom, the people that were there that wanted it, they were watching it, but then everyone else was just kind of like, eh.
So did you finish the demo?
I did.
Okay.
I did. The demo was basically like the first part of Jellyfish Fields. You unlocked the first spatula, which didn't have any sound effects or animation. And then you got instantly transmitted to beside the Jellyfish King. I was like, all right, cool. And the boss fight was even easier than it was on the PS2.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, this is really... And it just... I don't want to be crapping all over. I want to give it a chance. But my personal experience that I had with it was overall neutral to negative. Right. Though it looked pretty. Environments looked beautiful.
it looked pretty, but we just gotta wait. I mean, you said You said Toys for Bob fixed the Spyro stuff in like 2 to 3 weeks.
Right, but
they have a couple months. They can do a lot.
They could, but remember, they don't have the same resources as Activision does. Activision literally owns like a workload of people. So, but that's all the time we have for today for this episode of Wumpa Time. We will be uploading this on SoundCloud and everywhere else. We're everywhere in your ears, and you can hear our beautiful voices in those said ears.
Oh, yes. So either subscribe here to Canadian Guy A's channel for the YouTube upload and join in the Premiere chat so you can talk to people while they listen, or just listen to us on whatever favorite audio service you use in the car or in the house or whatever. Remember, if you have any questions, hashtag Wumpa Time. We'll answer any and all questions you have. We check it every other day. And yeah, every Sunday, yada yada blah.
Saturday.
Saturday. What did I say?
Sunday.
What? I lied. Saturday. Don't believe past me. Future me says Saturday.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.